Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to this very special start to our meeting this morning. We get to honor our youth. It's something very special to me, and I know the rest of the commission echoes my thoughts. So this is the regular meeting of the Taos County Board of Commissioners. Today is Tuesday, August 1st, 2017, and it's just slightly after 9 a.m. Clerk, call the roll.
Chairman Fevra.
Present.
Vice Chair Gagos.
Here.
Commissioner Romero.
Present.
Commissioner Blankenhorn.
Present.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Present.
All right, we do have a quorum, so we'll proceed. I ask everyone to please stand, and I would like to bring forth Ms. Mirabai Starr. She's an author and an interfaith spiritual teacher, and she's going to give us some words of wisdom to start our meeting off on the right step. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you.
We'll step over to the microphone. And you can address the crowd or us. if
Oh, I'd
it's-
love to.
That's perfect.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
This is a book I did in collaboration with Father Bill McNichols. Many of you know that iconographer priest who left town a few years ago and was very much loved in our community. And this is a book of icons of Mother Mary. And he asked me as an interfaith leader to write prayers that kind of encompass all spiritual traditions. And so this one, I don't know if you can see, is called the Petrovska icon of the Mother of God. And it's actually a brown Madonna, because R.C. Gorman once said to Father Bill, how come you have the black Madonna and you have the white Madonna, but you don't have a brown Madonna? And so Father Bill created this icon of the brown Madonna. And that's the prayer that I wrote that I'm going to read to you. Holy brown Madonna, Mother of all people who live in harmony with the Lamb, help me to unclench my fist and release my wanting. Instead of clinging to cars and clothes, gadgets and games, let me find the treasure in the crescent moon floating in the face of the night sky. Rather than seeking congratulations for my own accomplishments, let me discover the grace of praising you. Blessed One, sometimes I forget that I am a small shining thread in the radiant cloak of creation, and I mistake myself for the King. Help me to reconnect with the web of all life and take my rightful place as a child of the earth, my mother. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you please remain standing, and Mr. Trujillo, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Commissioner O'Donnell has one suggested change and an addition on item 8. Commissioner O'Donnell.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, I would move we approve the agenda with switching item 5 and 6. So 6 would be first, would be V, and we would switch awards and recognitions, and citizens' concerns would follow. And also under presentations, I'd like to add Eladio Serrano, who will help with the presentation if Ms. Monica,
Ms. Wilder.
Ms. Wilder does not show up.
All right. Commissioners, anything else?
I'll second that motion, Mr.
We
Chairman.
have a motion and a second. I hear no other changes to the agenda. Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Romero.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Yes.
Commissioner Blankenhorn.
Yes.
Vice Chair Gagos.
Yes.
Chairman Fevra.
Yes. Okay, so item 5, awards and recognition. This is discussion regarding the following. I asked Mr. Arsenio Trujillo, the sports editor for the Taos News, to come forward. This is to honor the top 25 athletes from Taos County for the school year 16-17 And it's 24 athletes and one golfer that I know pretty well.
Mr. Chairman, members of this commission, thanks a lot for having us here today. Thanks for your helping us to recognize these athletes, these students of Taos County, which includes the schools from Taos High School, Vesta High School, and Piasco High School. I want to read something that our editor wrote when we were putting together this publication. This publication came out in the middle of June and was a culmination of just some ideas that we had throughout the sports season that we wanted to put together, recognizing, of course, that a lot of athletes put a lot of hard work, a lot of coaches put in a lot of time and energy and hard work as well to do well at their sports, in their sports craft, and to do well in their academic achievements as well. And so we thank you for allowing us to publicly give these athletes a pat on the back, and we've got a little something for them as well. First of all, I'd like to read, like I said, something that came from our editor. She helped put this publication together. And in a few minutes, I would also like to introduce our publisher. So what does it take to step out onto a hardcourt floor or a field in front of a cheering crowd and put it all on the line for your team and sport? Well, it takes grit, talent, and moxie. Taos County athletes have more than their fair share of all three. The Taos News is pleased to honor the top 25 athletes from Taos County prep schools who exemplify the strength, dedication, and skill needed to excel in sports. Now, this is our first, you all are our first edition of athletes that we wanted to recognize, and so we hope that we can continue this and we can hopefully inspire other athletes to do the same and to step it up this year the way you guys have done in the year 2016 to 2017. So many of them were top performers in more than one sport. They led both on the field and off the field, inspiring their teammates and their competitors. Taos County has a slew of excellent athletes. Believe me, you all were not the only ones that we looked at. There are so many good athletes, and everybody does a really good job starting since now in the summertime to prepare for these respective sports. Not only the field of these young men and women was tough, but in track, basketball, volleyball, cheer, and golf, these young student athletes stood out, and we hope by recognizing some of these top athletes, others will be inspired to follow in their footsteps. So what we have is we have some certificates that we'd like to present to the athletes, and then afterwards we'd like to take a group photo with all the commissioners.
We've never been afraid to get in front of the camera.
So if I could, actually before we do that, I'd like to introduce our publisher, Mr. Chris Baker, to come say a few words as well.
Yeah, we're honored to be here today, and thank you for inviting us. One of the things that's got to joy this section is, as we all know, sometimes in the pages of the Taos News or a lot of weekly newspapers, not all positive on today's youth. There's unfortunately drug problems and such, but this is such a rewarding experience. I can't tell you how many people have asked for this section after it's published. And usually we put out dining guides and visitors guides, all kinds of wonderful sections in the paper, but more calls have come through this section from nieces and cousins and aunts and throughout the area saying, I want this section. And I said, it's online, you can download there. They go, we don't want to be on download. We want the physical section. So next year we want to do it again. We print more copies, I'll guarantee you that. I want to thank Brent for being a great participant in the county. You guys are wonderful partners with this section. I just think it can grow from here on out. Next year we'll have a banquet with it, and I want to thank the parents. The parents don't always get the recognition. They're the ones out there taking the students to the games, to the early morning swim meets. Without them, I don't know where we'd be. But anyways, congratulations, students. I think have you guys come up now, and we'll do the photo op and do the certificates, right?
Yeah. Just stay here with me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call everybody up individually, and then if you hand us the certificate, and we'll get a nice individual photo. Mr. Chairman, members of this commission, we'd like to ask TJ Madrid to come on up. Cuesta High School, and he's a senior. I'd like to come up with the camera. But that's
I don't know where she was.
You can tell we rehearsed this, right? And stay up there.
Justin Madrid, Cuesta High School sophomore. I'm not sure if he's here, but Simon Mount, is Simon Mount here? Simon Mount, senior from Taos High School. Lene Rael, is Lene Rael here? She is. Kaylin Tonry from Taos High School. Jonah Miguel from Taos High School. We've got a typo, but it's okay. Jonah is a sophomore. He'll be a junior next year at Taos High. Jacqueline Gallegos from Taos High School. Jackie Jaggers from Taos High School. Isaac Esquivel from Taos High School. Elena Padilla from Cuesta High School. Gabe Gallegos, senior from Cuesta High School. Faith Powell from Taos High School. Esteban Valerio from Taos High School.
He was going to be on his way. He had football practice till 9. So he was going to make sure.
Elizabeth Reyes, senior from Taos High School. Elena Espinosa, senior from Taos High School. Daniel Aguilar, senior from Taos High School. Charlena Gonzalez, Peñasco High School. She's in college. Carly Gonzalez, Peñasco High School. Bianca Contreras from Peñasco High School. Bianca is also the Peñasco Fiesta Queen. Aliyah Duran, Cuesta High School. Adriana Tafoya, Peñasco High School. Aliyah Quintana, Taos High School. And at this time, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, I would like to recognize our female athlete of the year, Ms. Cora Kennedy. She's from Taos High School. And Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, we'd also like to recognize our male athlete of the year, senior from Taos High School, Mr. Ryan McCarty. Thank you, and once again, athletes, if you're moving on to college and you would continue to work at your craft, use your body to inspire others and to continue to do sports, we wish you the best of luck. And those of you that are returning, continue also to do your best, and we thank you for all the wonderful times and the wonderful games and the wonderful events that you allowed us to cover and that you've allowed us to be a part of as well.
Arsenio, did you forget anybody?
No, we're complete. I'm just kidding. Mr. Josh Amber, come on up. Mr. Fambro is from Taos High School. He's going to be a junior. Anybody else? Along those lines, I also want to mention that we've had some tremendous coaching from Taos County as well. Some accolades that definitely go out to some of our well-known coaches for sure. Bruce Gomez, Mr. Kurt Edelbrock, some long-standing coaches here in Taos that have been here since forever, since the late 80s and the 90s. We'd also like to recognize too that we have in our presence today Coach Benny Mitchell, who was the male coach athlete of the year. Mr. Mitchell, good morning. And also, Ms. Lisa Pita Valerio is also our female coach athlete, coach of the year. I don't think she's here. We want to recognize our coaches for the hard work and dedication that they provide to their programs as well. That's all I've got, and if we could have the commissioners come down and take a group photo, that would be wonderful.
Stay up here, but behind you. You guys can also stand.
Yeah, parents, come on up. You can take pictures as well.
I can't see anyone.
Person is talking in the back.
I can't see anyone. I can't see the ladies in the front
and jump to the back.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Okay, smile, everyone.
Good.
Big smiles. Count of three. 1, 2, 3.
Hold on.
Big smiles, everybody.
Let's give everybody, the athletes and their parents, a big round of applause.
Thank you very much, athletes.
I'd also like to recognize Ms. Nikki McCarty, the athletic director of Taos High School. She's here.
Thank you very much for your time and allowing us to do this public presentation.
Okay. Proceeding with the agenda, the next item is item 6, citizens' concerns. This is the time that citizens can address the commission if it's on something that's not on the agenda, or if it's something on the agenda later. You are limited to 5 minutes or less for your presentation, so that we can keep the meeting moving along. I first would like to recognize Mr. David Fernandez, who's here to speak on the Northern Rio Grande National Heritage Area.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, County Manager, Mr. Cordova, I'm David Fernandez. I'm a member of the Board of Directors of the Northern Rio Grande National Heritage Area, a position I also share with one of the commissioners, Gabe Romero, who is here. And I'm here this morning to make just a brief invitation announcement about a great event which is going to be taking place this coming Saturday, August the 5th. So I'm just going to read from our brief press release on it. The Northern Rio Grande National Heritage Area Board of Directors cordially invites all to the Saturday, August 5th, grand opening of the Northern Rio Grande National Heritage Center, located in Alcalde, New Mexico, at the site formerly named the Oñate Monument Visitor Center. The event will be a full day of blessing and celebration of our multicultural heritage and our service area, heritage area service area of Taos County, Rio Arriba County, and Santa Fe County in the Northern Rio Grande region. The event will begin at 8:30 a.m. with traditional and multicultural blessings, healing prayers and invocations, and then into a full schedule of Northern Rio Grande cultural and iconic legends and performers, music and dance, farmers market, lowrider car show, cultural and heritage workshops, art demonstrations, food and discussions, and more. Closing time will be 8 p.m. The Northern Rio Grande National Heritage Area is a public corporation that is funded by the U.S. National Park Service, and our mission is to sustain the communities and the heritage and the language and the culture and tradition and environment of our Northern Rio Grande country through partnerships, education, and interpretation. This National Heritage Center, which will be opening on Saturday at the formerly named Oñate site, is in collaboration with the Rio Arriba Board of County Commissioners. And our Northern Rio Grande National Heritage Organization anticipates that the Heritage Center will be a dynamic, significant, and important cultural heritage resource, and perhaps as a kind of a bridge of the gaps which sometimes we still see in our area for all the peoples of the Northern Rio Grande regions. You can get more information just online, type in Northern Rio Grande National Heritage Area. So that's it for this invitation here to all of you, and again I want to thank Commissioner Romero for all the hard work and inspiration and guidance which he also lends to our organization here. And I'm just going to leave a little postcard invitations with each of you. I think Commissioner Bamber, you have one.
Yes, and I shared it with the rest of the commissioners, and I didn't know if you had enough for everybody.
Yeah, I've got a few more here. And certainly like to leave one, Mr. Cordoba.
Thank you, Mr. Fernandez, and thank you.
Thank you,
Commissioner Romero.
bienvenidos a todos, and remember this is our country and we're all in it together, and for come hell or high water, for better or for worse.
Okay, moving along, is there anyone else that would like to address the commission at this time? Please come forward and state your name for the record. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here. My name is Peter Allen, spelled A-L-L-E-N, and I'm a resident of Carson, which is on the west side of the river, and that's in District 3. I'm here to discuss the solid waste, county solid waste tax. Years in the past, it's been $50 for 6 months to use the landfill up to a ton. That's 2,000 pounds. So that equated to $100 a year to use 4,000 pounds in a year. It was a limited time that you could use that. Now it's $30 per quarter, which is basically the same as $60 a half year, or $120 a year. 2 months ago, I went to the landfill and I put into the landfill 80 pounds of refuse. 80 pounds in 1 year, that's what I have accumulated. I paid the minimum charge of $5, which was really for 200 pounds. And that's a far cry from $120 for sure. And it's 80 pounds is a far cry from 2 tons, 4,000 pounds. The reason I have so little going to the landfill is that I recycle. I recycle cans, bottles, plastic, paper, magazines, anything that they'll accept at the recycle center, which is quite a bit. Magazines weigh a lot, and they don't necessarily disintegrate very rapidly either. There's one neighbor out in Carson that actually recycles number 5 plastic. When she goes to Santa Fe to do some shopping, she takes the number 5 to their recycling center. Anyway, what I'm getting at is that I do the recycling. My wet garbage goes into a compost. Bones go to my dog or the coyotes. Mice and pack rats go to the ravens. Just a side note, 6 years ago, 3 of us in Carson established a recycling program at the post office. They did not have that. In other words, we put some bins in there for people to put their their junk mail, the flyers, and all that stuff that is the reason the post office can exist, I'm sure, but we don't need that to go into the landfill, so we recycle that. Now, I don't know what the solution is to basically acknowledge the efforts, diligent efforts that some of us citizens in the county put effort into recycling stuff that would otherwise end up into the landfill. And that's the intent of recycling, is to limit the amount of stuff that goes to the landfill. I don't know what the solution is. Maybe there's a designation of a type of classification of residents that by demonstrating how little they use the services of the landfill. And that's in quote services, because we do all the work, really. Maybe there's a way to pay as we go and show at the end of the year the amount of landfill that we had to use because there was no recycling program for it. And I was showing that, demonstrating how little we use the landfill. Perhaps there's a way to get a credit back on the fee that we paid. I'd be willing to spend time with whomever in the county, whoever is in charge of that program, to come up with a program, a solution. I think it's a good thing to do for the county to recognize and encourage people to recycle, to keep the stuff out of the landfill. And I think if we can do that, I'm going to recycle anyway. That's just my nature. But I think if we can encourage other people to do so, if they see a benefit to them financially, that would be that'd be a win-win, I would think. Anyway, I'm up for questions, and I would like to be, if the commission would like to use my energy anyway to work with somebody or a group of people to try to come up with some ideas on how we can do that. I would be really willing to do that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Allen. Mr. Cordova.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Mr. Allen, thank you for being here. Thank you for recycling. Certainly appreciate the effort. Mr. Filkey, who's also in our audience, has actually come to me in the last week with your same concern.
Oh, really?
It's something that I've heard before. I do want to clarify a couple of things. It's not a tax, it is a fee. I know it feels like a tax, but it has been increased to the 120 for a couple of years now. And so
the tax bill.
we use the same vendor that prints the tax bill to print our solid waste fee bill. It's been $128 for 2 years now. We did start the quarterly in order to try and break up that billing for people to pay a little less at a time and still get a card and have some use. We are going to put together a solid waste task force. We're going to include some internal people within the county, and maybe you could be one of our constituents that would like to join us. And Mr. Filkey should be on there. Apparently this has been done in the past, and we didn't really get the results that the task force was looking for. So ultimately, it seems the fairest thing would be scales. And in each of our transfer stations, however, the cost of those scales is prohibitive at this time. Our solid waste is a proprietary fund. We run it like a business. It doesn't need to be in the black in order for us to be able to, continue to run it. So we had to raise rates a few years ago to get it back into the black. I appreciate your concerns, but recycling isn't free, and it doesn't actually save us money. There is a cost to recycling, which is not very well known, I think, in the public. That cost of recycling helps drive up the cost for everyone else. There's also services our solid waste department provides beyond just taking your transfer. All these illegal dump sites out in the county, those are the county's responsibility. So usually it's our staff that has to address any illegal dump sites throughout the county. And at the end of the day, we need to be revenue neutral. So if I understand your concern, and if you're using less of the weight, we need to get to that point where it's fair, but that may mean a higher cost per pound for everyone else. Or, just so that we're revenue neutral, like I mentioned, it's a proprietary fund, so we do need to be able to cover our expenses with our revenues. So I'll give you a card on the way out, and I hope we can stay in contact and you can be part of our solution. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your comments, Mr. Allen.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address? It's just hope he's never learned how to put his phone on silent mode, as long as I know.
Mr. Chairman, no.
Commissioner Romero,
You are the member that represents us.
the landfill board. Yes.
Landfill board. What does it cost to operate the landfill on an annual basis?
That report was given to us recently before we got the information on the recycle center. I'll get that spreadsheet and I'll share with the commission. I'll send an email form to Mr. Jaramillo and have him disperse it to the commission.
Okay. And I know in the past, when I was a representative of the county on the FEC board and the landfill board, Taos County was always the biggest user. But through the years, through some recycling efforts and other ideas that the county took on in order to solve or to decrease that expense, Taos County, in fact, came finally second to the town of Taos. And I don't know where we're at this at this juncture, but
Commissioner O'Donnell attended the last meeting for me, so she has the monthly printout, so maybe she can share that with
do
you.
you have an idea, Commissioner O'Donnell?
How do you guys, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, I'll get you the stuff.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address the commission today? Hearing none, seeing none, we will proceed to the next item on the agenda, which is item 7. It's a public hearing for discussion, consideration, and decision on the following item. This will be a public hearing regarding proposed ordinance 2017-3, which is an ordinance authorizing the operation of recreational off-highway vehicles and all-terrain vehicles on paved streets owned and controlled by the County of Taos. This will be presented first by staff, our County Sheriff, Mr. Jerry Hogrefe, and then once he finishes his comments, I will open up the public hearing for any public comments. You will need to be sworn in on any testimony that you give by our clerk, and then at that time we would close the public hearing and go to commissioners' comments, and then if it's the wish of the commission, a vote could follow. Sheriff Hogrefe.
Good morning. Sheriff Jerry Hogrefe will be speaking on behalf of this proposed ordinance.
Can I keep him to the 5 minutes too? No, I'm kidding.
5 minutes. Tough crowd. So the draft ordinance that was proposed last time, I've lost track of how many times we've been up at the podium to talk about this issue now. And again, this is something that was brought forth through the community, and my position on it was if we were going to entertain such an ordinance, I at least wanted to be a part of it to make sure it met statutory requirements and what I felt like would fit well within our community and our county. So that's my involvement in this. So since the last draft, we have the final, and I believe you have that in front of you. It's been advertised for the community to see as well. The definitions under Section 2 have not changed. An all-terrain vehicle, an ATV still remains the same. And ROHV, recreational off-highway vehicle, still remains the same. Under Section D, it further describes and defines what each of those are, and of the recreational off-highway vehicle being a side-by-side for common terminology, having a steering wheel, non-straddle or saddle seat, maximum speed greater than 35 miles per hour, gross vehicle weight or rating no more than 1,750 pounds. And I'm not going to read each and every one of these. I will drop down to Section 3, the operations, and this is a combination of what comes directly out of state law that allows for local governments to adopt ordinance on allowing the operation or limited operation of OHVs and ATVs. So I bring your attention to the requirements under Section 3B1 through 8. These requirements mean that whether it be daylight or nighttime hours, they must have a headlight, tail light that complies with the Off-Highway Vehicle Act, must have brakes, mirrors, mufflers. The operator must have a valid driver's license or instructional permit or provisional license of any class in order to be an operator. We'll further talk about operators here in a moment. Must have a safety permit if they are of an age that requires such. The operator is insured in compliance with the Mandatory Financial Responsibility Act. So these ATVs and ROHVs must be insured according to state traffic regulations. The operator must follow all the traffic regulations and state statutes and ordinances as described in the OHV Act, the state law. And then this part that we had some discussion back and forth on, the ages. No person under 16 years of age shall operate an ATV or ROHV. And then to be in compliance with state law, or at least compatible with state law on motorcycles, we stayed consistent that all passengers, drivers, passengers, whoever that are under the age of 18 must wear a safety helmet. The Section C, D, E comes straight out of state law. We made no alterations or changes to that. Under Section 4 on page 4, the speed limits Again, we had some discussion about this amongst the community commission, different meetings and phone calls that I've received. We decided to go with a speed limit for any recreational vehicle or ATV on any roadway controlled by the county. Should be 30 miles per hour or the posted speed limit. So if we have a roadway that has a speed limit of 20 miles an hour, obviously the maximum speed would be 20. Otherwise, if it's unposted or is posted at higher than that, the maximum speed would be 30 for the ATVs or ROHVs. And then we added number 2, the operator shall operate the RHV or ATV on the extreme right-hand side of the roadway, whenever practical to do so. Passengers, we put some definition in about the passengers. Person operating the ROHV or ATV shall only ride on permanent, regularly attached seats, can't be altered. Section D talks about one person shall operate while carrying a package, bundle, or other article that would prevent them from having both hands on the control and their full attention to the roadway. Thought that was important for to add in there, so people wouldn't be carrying their suitcases under one arm and not able to control their vehicle appropriately. And then no operator shall carry any passenger, or no passenger shall ride in a position that will interfere with the operations of the ATV. And then section 6 is again straight from the state statute on the obedience to traffic laws being required. So it has to meet all those statutes. We went beyond a little bit by lowering the speed limit and creating a minimum age for an operator to be that of 16 instead of what could have been under state law 13 and a half. So we did modify that to fit what we thought was best for our needs. So with that, I appreciate the commission's patience on bringing this forward, and the work that's gone into it. Ms. Baker has done quite a bit of research and so forth, and took my original draft and made these modifications. We've discussed it. We feel like that this is probably the best fit for our community should the commission decide to go forward and approve such. And with that stated, I guess I would just kind of close this opening by saying I am in support of Ordinance 2017-3.
Okay, thank you, Sheriff, for your presentation. At this time, I would like to open up the public hearing. Is there any member of the audience wishing to speak for or against Ordinance 2017-3, the ordinance authorizing operation of recreational off-highway vehicles and all-terrain vehicles on paved streets owned and controlled by the County of Taos? Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any closing comments, Sheriff?
Mr. Chairman, I did forget one important thing to mention, that this county ordinance would give us some consistency with other communities within Taos County. Village of Cuesta has an ordinance that allows for operations, so does the town of Red River. We have some concurrent jurisdictions and concurrent roadways that this would be of benefit to for gaining access to public lands, trails, agricultural areas, and so forth like that. So I forgot to mention that.
Commissioners. Commissioner Romero.
Mr. Chairman, is it limited to just paved streets, or when it says highways owned and controlled by the County of Taos? Is that open to roads that are not paved?
Chairman, Commissioners, if you want to answer that, it's just paved. I researched that. It's confusing, but it's based on state statute, so it wouldn't involve dirt roads. I think we had some confusion about that during our initial conversations, and if you disagree, let me know, but in looking at state statute, it only involves paved roads. That's from our jurisdiction.
Yes, sir, and I would point out that the current state statute is written only controls paved roadways within jurisdictions, so dirt roads, county roads, were already exempt from this anyway.
Anything else, Commissioners? At this time, it would be my pleasure, Sheriff, to make a motion that we adopt 2017-3, the ordinance authorizing the operation of recreational highway vehicles and all-terrain vehicles on paved streets owned and controlled by the county.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Chairman. I believe Mr. Filkey wants to speak.
Public hearing is open and closed. But If Commissioner Romero would like to hear something specific, I would allow.
I don't know if he wants to speak, Mr. Chairman.
As many meetings as you've come to and you haven't learned the procedure yet, or turning your cell phone on.
Thank you, Chairman. We have a road that gets...
Hold on just a second. Ms. Baker, being he missed the public hearing portion, public comment portion, do we still need to sign, swear in?
I'm not sure what he's going to testify to. If he's giving, we don't swear in for an ordinance. We swear in on a quasi-judicial matter. I'm not aware that we swear in on all public hearings. In fact, this issue's come up when if you routinely do, it's not required. It's required for a quasi-judicial
Okay,
hearing.
go ahead, Mr. Miller.
My concern is mostly jurisdictional. We get a lot of dirt bike, four-wheelers, traffic. A lot of it's local, but I want to make sure that we're not being commercially exploited by Sipapu or the Forest Service. I went to the Forest Service and I asked them for their map of trails. So I got to get back and talk to them. But there's not much you can do on restrict. I don't know. It's like a sense of not knowing where to go or who to speak to other than the Forest Service on keeping the maintenance down. If we have to maintain the road ourselves and it's getting impacted by other entities that want to commercialize it. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Blakenhart?
Yes.
Vice Chair Gagos?
Yes.
Chairman Bender?
Yes. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
And thank you to your committee members as well. Item 8 under presentation. This is discussion and consideration regarding the following. This will be a presentation regarding the Ag Center and the Ag Facility Board. This will be presented by Ms. Monica Gonzalez Wilder and Mr. Hilario Serrano. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Mr. Cordova, Ms. Baker. I am Monica Gonzalez Wilder. I am the Program Assistant for the Taos County Cooperative Extension Service, and I'm also speaking on behalf of the I Gonzalez Taos County Agricultural Center. Just to kind of catch you up on the history of the Agricultural Center and how it became about. The Agricultural Center was created by a group of people who brought their thoughts together. In the late 80s, 90s, the Taos County National Guard Armory was going to have a new complex developed. That's where the home of the Taos County Fair used to be hosted. To the thanks of people like Randall Lumber and Taos County Farm Bureau and other entities in the community, we used to use the National Guard Armory, which is now the Taos County Road Department. When Randall Lumbers would close their doors at 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon, Taos County Fair Association, Taos County 4-H, Taos County Extension, Taos County Farm Bureaus, all those people used to go over, pick up wooden pallets, create a livestock pens for our animals, 2x4s to hang our quilts. And that would proceed through the whole weekend. By the end of Sunday afternoon, we had that returned back to Randall Lumber and put in place for them to continue business operations the next Monday morning. So when the National Guard Armory was going to be moved to the south end of town, the future of the annual Taos County Fair was in jeopardy. So at that point in time, the Fair Board Association president at the time, Mr. Raymond B. Hill, and Beatriz Gonzalez, Mrs. Gonzalez, Bethany Naguel, who was the president of the Taos County Farm Bureau, and Mr. Ray Torres, who was the Taos County Cooperative Extension Director at the time, got together and decided on what do we do. So at that time, my mother, Ms. Beatriz Gonzalez, said, I've got some acreage on the south end of town. I would be willing to donate 3 acres of land and start the Taos County Agricultural Center at that point in time, home to the Taos County Fair and the Taos County Cooperative Extension Service. At that time, they also approached the county and did an agreement on the county purchasing 2 additional acreage adjacent to that land for $35,000. So what a bargain the town got. Got 5 acres of land on the south end of town for $35,000 due to the donation of the 3 acres from Gachis Gonzalez. So it was then about 95 that we got 97 that we got funding. 98 we had the grand opening, which was on the Friday of the county fair. Cut ribbons, one of the largest attended county fairs that we ever have had in history. So that's how the Taos County Agricultural Facility was created. In lieu of that, with the donation of the 3 acres, Mrs. Gonzalez did ask that the complex be named after her late husband, Juan Gonzalez, who was a businessman and an agricultural person here in the community. So that's how the name was developed. The stipulations of what the agricultural center was to be used for was also agreed upon between the commissioners and the county government at that point in time. It was to enhance the agricultural community by bringing agricultural entities, agencies, events, conferences, anything that would enhance our agricultural industry in the county and in northern New Mexico. Later on, we outgrew the exhibit hall, we outgrew the conference room. So we sat down and said, okay, we have an indoor arena, hasn't been completed 100%. We don't have bathrooms, we don't have a commercial kitchen, we don't have conference rooms to expand out. So that's how that became about. In 2004, we received funding from the legislature and added a wing onto the Taos County Indoor Arena. That wing would then host a commercial kitchen, restrooms for both male and female, and also breakout room conference classroom style stuff. It would also host utility closets. It would help keep the general public that we could use the arena at the same time without having interference up on the conference room in the big office complex. At this point in time, the funding that we landed up having was just enough to put a shell over to the arena. Roughed in electricity, no, we don't have electricity roughed into that one, just roughed in plumbing fixtures. Unfortunately, Phoenix Mechanical somehow did not rough in the plumbing to the blueprints that were originally designed at that point in time. And so we had to bring in Mr. Bob Sturtzman to come and redesign that and also bring up the plans that in about 5 years ago back up to par to meet the code compliance and everything. Then that's when we realized that Phoenix Mechanical had plumbed the bathrooms incorrectly by not putting the rough-in plumbing in the center of each one of those stalls. So then that created an issue. Mr. Strickman then had to redesign the bathroom situation, which then created another situation that we didn't have enough stalls to comply with the amount, with the general public capacity. So we talked about adding in some handicap unisex bathrooms at the west end of the arena, which would be more accessible for any handicap, wheelchair accessibility and things like that. And with talking with Mr. Richard Sanchez over the years, there was always talk that the bathrooms would have a shower in each one of them. With the issue that we came across with Phoenix Mechanical, that was not going to be able to be done in those restrooms, so we talked about doing it in the handicap facilities. At this point in time, that's where this complex sits. I know that it has been refinanced, and I do remember attending and hearing that with the refinancing of the agricultural center's loan, that we would get at least the bathrooms, the commercial kitchen, and the walls for the classroom completed when the county refinanced the agricultural center's loan. And that's basically where we're at a standstill at this point in time. So if there's any questions, concerns, interest on what's going on in the agricultural center, please ask.
Commissioners. Okay.
At this point in time, I do want to extend an invitation to our annual Taos County Fair. That is coming up August 18th through the 20th. Our junior livestock show and auction is on Saturday, the 19th, 2 p.m. Please come by, support us. We have beautiful pageantry with our quilts. as I was just talking with Mr. Neal, that to bring in his produce. I think it's going to be a pretty decent year this year. Last year we got hit with grasshoppers, so we didn't have as big of a produce section as we normally do. But the hard work of the 4-H kids, our community, our artists in the community take pride in bringing their items out to us. And this is the showcase of Taos County. And that's a big reason why the Agricultural Extension Office and the Agricultural Center are in existence to this day, is because of the Taos County Fair. So thank you. And also...
Lily, do you have anything to add, Lily, or Hilario?
I believe Mr. Sedano was one of our first board members on the Agricultural Facility Board that was created by the county commissioners at that point in time in 1998 to oversee the daily maintenance, the construction, and the moving forward on the Agricultural Center. That way that there was a body of board of directors that could respond to the commissioners, since none of you can all at one time ever be there. But on a daily basis still. So that's why the county at that point in time created that resolution, creating the Taos County Agricultural Facility Board. And he was one of our first board members. So,
Commissioners, Chairman, thank you, Mike. Yeah, that was a long time ago. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it was the board was put together really to enhance our agricultural community here in Taos County. And what I wanted to do is, along with that, just give an invitation to our commissioners. For Randall Lower Harbor has been a huge supporter of our agricultural community, as well as 4-H, as well as our county fair, and we will continue to do so. And we're very fortunate and very blessed that we're able to do so. What I want to do is I want to give a formal invitation to all our commissioners. We are having this weekend a grand opening for our second location, which is Randall Lumber Harbor Ranch and Feed, supporting our agriculture and our ranching community. And this is on the north end of town, right across the street from Taos in the Ocho Mesa Feed building. We took that building over and the business over back in April. We're having a grand opening this Saturday from 9 to 3. You'll see something in the newspaper here tomorrow about a formal invitation to our community, but as far as our commissioners, love to have you folks there along with us. So just wanted to mention that, and then again, of course, with the in supporting the ag building and the good works that come along with what we do in our agricultural community. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple quick comments and questions.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Thank you for presenting. You do see the resolution. It does highlight one of the resolves is make recommendations on the construction and continued improvements to the agricultural facility. With that being said, are you in favor of adding showers, and maybe give us a reason why you would like to see showers?
when it was originally designed to add that extension onto the indoor arena, we did discuss showers. At the time, it would be one shower per bathroom is what it was going to be designed as. At that time, we did have several fires in northern New Mexico. Red Cross had approached us in reference to using it as an emergency home base. They could not, their stipulations on Red Cross in using the facility is that they do have showers, they do have a commercial kitchen to feed the people. So that's when it started and was brought to our attention on adding those. It was never intended to add to having, people coming in and putting up their RV there for several months at a time, or somebody, housing there. At that time, it was basically as an emergency-based unit for Red Cross. Los Alamos at that time was under fire. Their fairgrounds is a one-way in, one-way out situation. In Los Alamos County, if you own any livestock, it has to be hosted at the county fairgrounds. So that's when it started being brought to our attention of we're a surrounding community, we help each other out. That's what agriculture families do. So that's when the bathrooms came about. But it was no more than 1 shower per bathroom. But then when Phoenix Mechanical plumbed in the rough plumbing and we realized that they had not done the floor drains and things like that, then we started revamping and looking at, okay, where can we put them? In talking recently with Mr. Sanchez, we have several utility closets that maybe we can revamp it and turn it into a unisex 1 shower needed there. The commercial kitchen that is there is not only just for as a concession stand, which many people think and are misconstrued on that. The commercial kitchen is also to enhance our extension programs. New Mexico State University does diabetes cookie classes. We hire a dietitian. She does a 7-week, once-a-week course on teaching you how to adjust your diet. Northern New Mexico is a high diabetes community, so we have expanded it to twice a year. We can only use the Episcopal Church at this time because that's the largest kitchen we have that can serve these people, so we're leasing that. And that's what the commercial kitchen was intended for, was to help start enhancing these things. We have developed a master food preservation program from New Mexico State University. It's a 14-week session in the evenings teaching people how to can, how to dry, how to preserve. We've got a lot of questions. Everybody's going to raising their own home gardens nowadays. So that's another reason why the commercial kitchen would be a huge benefactor to the community here and in northern New Mexico. It's not just for Taos County. We would be able to invite the surrounding counties that, like Warner County, who does not have one at all. Colfax County doesn't have a home economist. It's a little far for our home economists from our surrounding counties to go up to Colfax County. They would love to come to Taos. So that's part of the reason of the bathrooms also was we do host the county fair. In some scenario, there could be a kid that slips and falls in cow poop or worse off in swine poop. So yeah, you do want to wash that stuff off right away. But it is, most county fairs, the state fair, everybody else that we started looking at that point in time, their facilities did have at least 1 shower. And that is also because they do use their commercial kitchens, teaching baking to their 4-H kids. Something happens, batter spits out from their mixer, is everywhere. Of course, parents want to get that off the kids right away. But it is a standard entity in a ag facility center that we looked at throughout the county. Ray Torres was county director at that time, and we were starting to develop that.
And so is the commercial, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, is the commercial kitchen included in the designs?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It does have the commercial stoves, refrigerators, ice maker, the oven hutches, everything is designed for a commercial kitchen.
And then how many showers are you requesting or would you like to see in there?
At this point in time, we would be happy just to have one. Looking at the plans and what would have to entail to even put one in, it is a hardship because of what Phoenix Mechanical failed to do in following the original blueprints. So yes, there's going to be some removing of concrete, which then also puts a hindrance on our slab because it puts stress when you start taking a jackhammer to remove concrete. And already at this point in time, our building has already settled so much that we're even having leak issues with the roof adjacent to the arena because it has settled and we just haven't completed the whole facility at this time. And it was, in a sense, poorly designed. It was kind of a rush job with the architects and with the contractors that we had to bring in and out. And everybody seems to take a shortcut on government when they have government contracts. So we've seen that a lot at the Ag Center. We would just hope that we can get it corrected and built in a correct and professional manner.
And Mr. Chairman, I would want to comment since all we have really is this resolution that clearly defines functions in that building. I would hope any plans to locate voting machines would, another place would be found because it does go against the mission of the Ag Center. It takes up space, and if we could find another location, I don't think it's part of their mission. I would hate to see that. And then in addition, your board makeup, somehow the second page is missing. Mr. Serrano has been on the board 20 plus years, as well as Peter VIII. And do you need the commission to appoint a couple more members? I know Mr. Gilbert Segura has passed.
With Mr. Gilbert Segura, he was the representative for the Soil and Water Conservation Board. He was at the time the chairman of the board then. Normally, the president of the Taos County Fair Association fills that spot. Usually, a member of the Taos County Farm and Livestock Bureau is appointed to fill that spot, and that's where Merle James fills in. So there's two positions that are appointed abroad by the commissioners. In the past, the tradition has been that the Ag Facility Board seek out two citizens through the community that are agricultural knowledge to sit on the board, and they give recommendations of several people throughout the community. So that's where those two people come in. The other ones are designated entities.
So, Mr. Chairman, perhaps you could at some point make that recommendation to fill the board,
If you give them to me.
county manager, to Jim.
We can give him a list of the current
And
board
I'll
members.
put it on the
and
next meeting as soon as you get them to me.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any further questions or concerns? Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Merlin.
So, Mr. Chairman, what are we going to do about that, the bathroom, the need for a bathroom, or at least a shower?
I know there's money that's been set aside for the project that was planned, and then would have to probably cut something down or something in order to do the shower, since it wasn't part of the plan, or we can try to find, I think of what I'd like to see is find out what it's going to cost, and then maybe we can assess everything at that time.
Mr. Sanchez is here. I'd like to hear from him as well.
Chairman, Commissioners, in the original design of that addition, there were no showers accommodated for. Currently, to put showers in there, they need to be ADA compliant. You're probably looking at between $35,000 and $80,000 for 2 showers.
One. They just requested one.
You'd have to check the code compliance for fixtures. You may not just be allowed to put one, you may have to put 2. It's like parking spaces. Parking spaces are based on how many parking spaces you have. Plumbing fixtures are based on your occupant load. The occupant load for that facility is over 500 just in bleachers. That's why we had to put a sprinkler system in. That's why we need to light up a little bit of plumbing fixtures as it stands.
So maybe what you can do, Rich, is look into the code and give us a ballpark estimate that we can look at in a future meeting.
One shower by itself is probably going to cost you between $20,000 and $30,000. The problem is getting water to a location that's already got a concrete floor, getting the sewer out. The walls are not the big deal, it's the plumbing. And just to give you an example, just to break out some concrete and repair piping that was in place in Amalia cost us almost $10,000. So, like I said, you're easily starting out at $20,000, probably as high as $30,000 for one shower.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to comment that if, in the future, Mr. Sanchez, if you could work with this board, they do have quarterly meetings. I think it's important that you continue to hear their concerns. And you say there were no showers in the original plans, but you're talking about the redesigned plan that you're currently working on. And I just, if there were problems with a certain contractor that cut corners, I don't think these people should bear the burden of those mistakes. So I would really like to see this done. What we got, a $250,000 loan for repairs and to work on the Ag Center. Let's get this where they need to be. And even though, let's say the Red Cross wouldn't use that facility, they still need it. There may be emergencies that don't involve the Red Cross that would be nice to accommodate the Ag Facility Board. and to help out our agricultural community. Let's give them what they want. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thanks, Rich. Feel good. It's just some work, something at the general ballpark. That's all we need.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman, I'd like to also clarify to Commissioner O'Donnell that we have never stored our voting machines at the Ag Center, and so I don't know where she got her information from.
Yes,
Thank you,
was
Madam
Mr. Sanchez said they were going to put the voting machines in the end, Mr. Chair.
Yes or no, are they there, Anna?
They're not.
Okay.
Okay, good.
All right, let's
Thank
move on. Next, thank you, Ms. Wilder, everybody. A lot of good luck this weekend. You're welcome. He's coming. All right. Item 9 is our consent agenda. The items on the consent agenda below have been reviewed for the purpose of voting on items with one vote. The items are listed for commissioners, the commission's consideration and decision. First being item A, approval of resolution 2017-40, a resolution for the adoption of required community development block grant policies and certifications. Item B is approval of a memorandum of understanding between Taos County and MAS regarding a reuse center at Chong Sal Transfer Station. I ask that the commissioners make a motion and a second approving A and B. Unless you want one item pulled for discussion, it would be voted on separately before any other business can continue. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Rushton, I so move that we approve the consent agenda, items A and B.
I'll second, Mr.
Have a
Chairman.
motion and a second. Clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Blankenhorn?
Yes.
Vice Chair Gagos?
Yes.
Chairman Bender?
Yes. Congratulations to you and your diligence. All right, we'll move on then. Item 10 is department matters, discussion, consideration, and decision regarding the following items. From the planning department, this is approval of the ratification decision of the commission regarding administrative permit 003-2016. Mr. VIIl.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Mr. Cordell, Ms. Baker. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this morning I respectfully come before you for ratification of the decision of the Board of County Commissioners, a decision regarding administrative permit 003-2016. On July 12, 2017, the Board of County Commissioners held a public hearing on the appeal of the decision of the Planning Commission regarding administrative permit 003-2016. The Board of County Commissioners, upon conclusion of the public hearing, voted to affirm with conditions the decision of the Planning Commission and with guidance from the county attorney, instructed planning staff to prepare the decision and to return to you for ratification and approval of the decision. A review of the transcript of the July 12 public hearing regarding the conditions was performed, and the decision before you is the final draft that has been reviewed by both the planning director and the county attorney. If you have any changes, including deletions or additions, please advise accordingly. I would like to remind you that based on Ordinance 2015-2, Taos County Land Use Regulations, the Board of County Commissioners must file its decision with the county clerk within 30 calendar days of the conclusion of the hearing. You made a decision on July 12, 2017, and therefore your decision shall be filed with the county clerk on or about August 11th. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners.
Pleasure of the commission.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move for approval of the ratification decision of the commission regarding the administrative decision of 003-2016.
Okay, I have a motion as stated,
Second.
and I have a second.
Mr. Chairman.
Discussion.
First, Commissioner Romero.
Mr. Chairman, I know Commissioner Gallegos was not present at the meeting. Is he able to vote on this decision?
Sorry, Chairman Commissioners, he's not, since it's a quasi-judicial hearing and he didn't render a decision. Not be able to vote.
And then, Mr. Chairman.
I'm waiting on a second.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Anything else, Commissioner Romero? That's
Yes,
it?
just,
Okay, Commissioner O'Donnell. Please, Commissioner, please wait for,
thank you, Mr. Chairman.
go ahead.
Thank you. Edward, there was some talk about posting that sign that we showed about helicopter. Is that, I don't see it in here. Could we just add, under appropriate signage, B, that includes, do you remember that sign that was red that we put up on the screen that was an FAA approved sign that's posted right there by the helipad?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner O'Donnell, I apologize, but I'm not recalling the sign that you're making reference to. I'll yield to the speaker.
I believe the applicant may have had a sign in their presentation up on the screen, is what I'm remembering. And I believe that sign is FAA required. It's part of the standard requirement for the helipad permit. So I think we're probably covered by this language. However, people take note and make sure that the proper signage is posted in accordance with their presentation.
Well, the presentation did say they would be fully FAA compliant, so I think that covers it. Anything else, Commissioner? Hearing none, I have a motion and a second. Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Blankenhorn?
Yes.
Chairman Bamber?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Second is a request for a meeting date and time for a public hearing to vacate a 5-lot summary subdivision and lot line adjustment survey plat associated with the summary subdivision. Hi, Mr. Padilla, how are you today?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. How are you today?
Just fine.
Good. Good morning, Commissioners, County Manager, County Attorney. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I'm requesting a hearing date for you to hear a proposal to vacate a 5-lot summary subdivision. I do have some suggested dates based on the statement of plat vacation.
Everybody have their calendars? Go ahead.
Okay. Which is recorded on July 26th of this year. My proposed dates are for your regularly scheduled meetings in September, either September 5th or September 19th. Because, Mr. Chairman, according to our subdivision regulations, once the statement of plat vacation is recorded, we have 60 days to either approve or disapprove this proposed plat vacation. In other words, we do have 60 days to come up with a hearing for that. So I stand for any recommendations on the hearing date.
One thing I know that was kind of in the works, Mr. Padilla, was Commissioners, the holiday weekend is the weekend before the 5th, and sometimes it's tough for staff to get stuff to us in a timely fashion. However, if you look at August, there are 5 Tuesdays, so possibly we could move our September 5th meeting to the 29th. I don't know if that still conforms to Mr. Correa's schedule, but that's a consideration that I was going to bring up, or Mr. Cordova was going to bring up to the commission to possibly move the 5th meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I'm fine with that.
Mr. Chairman, I may be out of town.
Okay. And we can always look for like a Thursday meeting or something like that.
I'll find.
So the agenda item is actually to set this date, but just so you know that the 5th meeting could be changed to either the 29th or some other time, and a relative period that we would need to announce way ahead of time. So does anyone have, Mr. Correa, is there a time limit on this that wouldn't work, since we know pretty much the 19th meeting would happen? Is that good?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, September 19th would work because we do have technically until September 24th, but that's a Sunday. So the 19th would work fine with staff, and that would give us plenty of time to work with the property owners of this subdivision to get notice in the newspaper and to get all the proper notifications they need to do and to prepare for this hearing.
So, Mr. Chairman, that is the 19th of September?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Romero.
Pleasure of the commission.
I'm fine with that, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, if I may, we anticipate the public hearing approximately less than an hour. And so obviously it's up to you, but we don't feel that a special meeting would be necessary, and we think that you could get into a regular meeting.
Mr. Cordova, do you expect anything else in that time frame that might need a special meeting or anything? I know it's way in advance, but.
Nothing at this time I anticipate. I think the 19th would be good. We could plan for it and make sure that the rest of the meeting is conducive to that public hearing.
Okay, so Commissioner Romero, is that in the form of a motion that you'd like to schedule this?
It sure is, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay. For September 19th.
At 9 a.m.?
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Will it be at 9 or should we set it for? Yeah, we'll figure that out. We'll just figure how it works best once you see the agenda. So did I get a second?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, motion and a second. Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Blankenhorn?
Yes.
Vice Chair Gagos?
Yes.
Chairman Bender?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, if I may, this is a public hearing that we're going to have to give notification to, so it is time specific. We've identified the time, but we also need to identify the time specific time as well, because we'll be doing publications and the letters of notification.
10 a.m.?
Motion that it take place at 10 a.m.
Okay, so we will revise the previously voted motion to include the time specific of 10 a.m. Madam Clerk. Was the second acceptable to that?
Yes.
Okay. So now voting on the amendment, clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Blankenhorn?
Yes.
Vice Chair Gagos?
Yes.
Chairman Bender?
Yes, there it is.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners.
Okay, that concludes item 10. Item 11, contracts, agreements, MOUs, and bids, discussion, consideration, and decision regarding the following: approval of the Fifth Amendment to contract TCC 2016-044 with Peter Schoenfeld, PA. The contract increase of the amount of $7,500 to a total of $47,500. Ms. Baker.
This is a contract that was previously entered into between Taos County and Peter Schoenfeld, our special water law counsel in the top of the world litigation. And in order to cover the executive session today, as well as the filing of a notice of appeal, should the board decide to proceed with the top of the world case, we need the extra $7,500. I will say that once we've reached a 47.5, if this litigation moves forward, it would be most appropriate and required by state law and our local procurement code to put this out to bid with an RFP because of the cost of the litigation. It will not stay within $60,000.
Thank you, Ms. Baker.
Mr. Chair,
Vice Chair Gagos.
Ms. Baker, you're saying in order for us to go into executive session and have discussion, we have to approve this contract first?
The monies have to be procured and the contract amount increased in order to compensate Mr. Schoenfeld. So in order to carry on this afternoon with the executive session, or I'm sorry, this morning, late morning, we do need to increase the contract amount. They have spent most of the existing contract.
Right, so I guess the question is that if we would have had this on an executive session 2 months ago, we had the same
Issue,
contract brought
yes.
to us.
That's correct, yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner O'Donnell and then Commissioner Buck.
are we able to just, you said we needed additional 7,500, can we just put that amount in instead of the 47.5?
No,
No,
the
it's
75
confusing.
brings it up to 47.5.
It's confusing. The total amount of the contract, this is an amendment to the existing contract, so the total amount of the existing contract, which dates back before my time, I think last summer, will go up to 47.5.
So it's going moving from 40 to 47.5.
I see, okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Took me a little bit on that.
Okay.
Commissioner Blankenhorn.
Thank you, Chairman. So have they used the 40?
They used the 40. They had to do an emergency filing in federal court when the Amat settlement came out about 3 weeks ago, and that used the remainder of the monies on the existing contract. They had to file a motion and appear in federal court.
And this is, of course, up to 47.
That's correct.
So the up to, I would like to see in the motion.
Make a motion to approve the Fifth Amendment, up to $47,500.
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and that refers to contract TCC 2016-044 with Peter Schoenfeld, PA, as the vendor. Any other discussion?
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Yeah, you got it.
Sorry.
Clerk call roll.
Commissioner Romero? Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Blankenhorn?
Yes.
Vice Chair Gagos?
Yes.
Chairman Bender?
Yes. Thank you. Next item is item 12, County Manager's Report on Matters. This will be an update to the County Commission on various items affecting Taos County. Mr. Cordova.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. Just a few things today. The first thing I wanted to mention to the board, our jail, our detention center, and our healthcare assistance program applied to participate in a trial Narcan distribution pilot program that NMAC put on. We were chosen. So Taos County was selected to participate along with a few other counties, Chavez, Colfax, Luna, Riga, Roosevelt, San Juan, Sandoval, and Sierra County. So the participating counties will be responsible for delivering education, distributing Narcan kits, collecting data, and providing monthly reports. Our healthcare assistance program will take the lead on this project and will be trained and will train others on the use of the Narcan as well as distributing the Narcan to all our detainees upon release. But we'll also distribute to family and friends and educate the family and friends as well. As you know, this program is to support implementation of House Bill 370 from our 2017 session. It is made possible through a partnership with the state. Educational materials, detention staff training, and Narcan kits will be provided by the New Mexico Human Services Department and Behavioral Health Services Division Office of Substance Abuse Prevention. OI Recovery is also working to provide detox services for Taos County residents at their Riverwood facility. That's something that we started discussions with this week, and we're hoping to be able to negotiate with OI to get a few beds on contract for us. So just a couple highlights and updates from our healthcare assistance fund and the detention center. Stand for any questions regarding that.
How did you get this? Did you apply?
NMAC sent out a request from the counties to see if any of us wanted to participate. We responded that we would like to participate. They gave us a chance, and so we sent a couple representatives to a meeting last week to get the information, and that's basically the update from that meeting. So yeah, they put out the solicitation and we responded. There's no other questions about that. I'll move on to a couple invitations to bid legal publications. You will probably see in this week's paper, we are looking for invitations to bid on the construction services for Chamisa Road paving project, as well as construction services for Gallina Canyon Road paving project. So those two projects will be put out for an invitation to bid, and we hope to get a good response and get those done this season.
I did have a question. Where is it? Is it right when you turn off the highway and it's that road going?
Which project are you talking about?
Gallina Canyon?
Gallina Canyon, yes, it's off of the, I don't remember the name of the road, but it's right off of the road, and it's not too far along. It's ideally what we're hoping to do is deal with some drainage issues. So that's probably the main purpose for the paving at that place, is to get some drainage.
And what's the length of that?
I don't have that in front of me. I do believe it's not very long. It's less than a mile. I can get you that information more specifically, Commissioner O'Donnell.
There were some issues, remember, back in the day when the land grant heirs there were fighting any kind of improvements to that road. I don't know where they stand now, but just make sure everything's in order on that one.
Commissioner O'Donnell, staff has been in contact with all the residents along the area that we will be paving. Commissioner Blankenhorn has had a discussion with the constituents in his district as well. We are going to get this accomplished, and we understand the past, the history of it. Thank you. And the last thing I really wanted to talk about today is our schedule. We kind of already touched on that. As you see, August has 3 opportunities for us to meet, or 5 Tuesdays, as the chairman alluded to. And I would like to request of the board that we would move our September 5th meeting to August 29th if possible. We'll still have meetings every 2 weeks. There'll be a 3-week gap between the 29th and the 17th, I think, of September, what we just agreed upon for the, get out my calendar. So I don't know, we can agree to that today, but it would be great for staff if we could have it on the 29th and allow staff to have that long weekend and not be worrying about getting a packet ready for the Tuesday after that long weekend. And then the next meeting would be the 19th of August. So if that's favorable to the commission, I would propose that we move our 5th to the 29th of August. Any concerns about that? If there's no concerns, we'll go ahead.
So to the 25th is what you're recommending?
To 29th, 26th.
Hold on.
Wait, let me look at it's the 29th of August. So I'm going to ask you to move the September 5th meeting to the 29th of August, 1 week ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that work.
Mr. Chairman,
I think I'll have to miss all this.
Mr. Chairman, the meeting we just scheduled a while ago with the planning department, what date was that?
That will be September 19th. That's a regularly scheduled meeting for September, the second regularly scheduled meeting. We'll go ahead and move forward with the 29th. Is that okay with the commission? And we'll, that way we can give plenty of notice to the public that that meeting will be changed. And then September,
I'm actually gonna, we'll go ahead and go with that.
thank you. And then the September 19th meeting will be the next meeting, and the following will be October 3rd, and we'll be back on schedule. Hopefully we'll finish the year on our normal schedule of first and third Tuesdays. Wanted to let the board know that I have completed my Taos leadership journey. I want to thank the board for the support and pushing me to do that. It was a 10-month process. I finished my last cohort last week, and tonight we have a little graduation of our cohort and our group, so I am officially done. I really appreciate the tools that I was able to learn and pick up, and I hope to be able to implement a lot of them with our leadership team as we go forward. I do intend to have a management team meeting tomorrow afternoon where we'll be addressing a number of items, but one of probably particular interest to the board is parking and the complex parking. As you know, we made some changes to the entry and exits here. We went back to what the original plans were for this building with one way in and one way out. That was for security concerns. That was for the safety and security of our staff and our elected officials. There has, however, been a lot of concern specifically around senior parking. And so, those are things I can't ignore. I've had a lot of different people who come to me with their concerns that the senior parking we have is inadequate, it's too far away. And so one of the things I'm going to ask management and elected officials tomorrow is to consider working with us on this back lot and moving some of our elected parkings, maybe scoot them over, move them down. The sheriff's already kind of agreed with me that we would work on that so that we can provide more senior parking as close as possible. However, we are going to stand firm to the locked side doors. It is, I think, what's best for our citizens as well when they are in the building. It's a major safety concern, and with so many of the issues that have come up over the last few years with gunmen in public buildings, things like that, we feel it's of the utmost importance for all our staff and our citizens that we have a security entrance in and out. We are also going to be adding more cameras for security in that aspect, and probably reconfigure the front here in terms of the welcome desk that we have. So those are a couple changes coming forward, but as you probably potentially heard from citizens, there is a lot of concern about that senior parking being just too far away and not easily accessible. So we are going to work on looking at a couple extra here within what will now be the employee parking and senior parking, I guess is how we'll put that, so.
Mr. Chairman, do we have a wheelchair ready? I know we did in the past, maybe once you decide what we could post that or on the doors, or somehow if people need wheelchairs, they can get them.
We do still have the wheelchair available. Yes, you're right, we should have better signage or better way of communicating that that's available to our constituents, but it is still available, so we are still willing to provide that service to our constituents. So.
Maybe a sign as they come in the parking lot, or I don't know how you would address that, how you would let seniors know.
Thank you.
Commissioner Blake.
City Medina was at my house at 7:30 pouring concrete, and before I left, he made sure and asked me to voice in that same concern. So I'm doing what I said I would. But it sounds like you guys are working on a good plan. I'll let him know if he's still there.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, it is a concern, and it's a very valid concern of our constituents, and I can appreciate that and understand that. I think I walked a couple of you around to understand the difference, so thank you for that support. Ultimately, though, we do still want to make sure that we have the safest, most secure facility for all that work here and all that come to be served. So. And that's all I have on my phone.
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple of quick questions.
Go ahead.
Would you please consider the people who want to attend the Hogrefe Feast Day, August 10th, be allowed to get off early? I would like to see those who want to go to the Hogrefe Feast Day be allowed to attend. So if you would take a look at that, see how you could address it. I'm not asking for the whole staff, but there are people who might want to attend from, who are county employees. So if you could at least look at that. And then I really like this discussion we had about the vacation of those lots and putting them into a contiguous one parcel that had been discussed, and really like to see that move forward. I think that would help the mess that's every year and taxes. I don't know how that's done, but I really would like to see that advanced as part. I don't know if that goes into LUR or if that's a separate.
Chairman, Commissioners, I did meet with Edward VIII, Nathan Sanchez, and Rudy Perea last week, and we discussed amendment of the subdivision regulation to allow for that vacation.
So
it's something I'm working on.
Okay, thank you. And then, let's see, as you're aware, I sent you an email of someone from the governor's office relating to a family in Penasco who needs some help in renovations. I've been racking my brain what group might facilitate, or there might be funding, and I'm just hoping perhaps we can come up with some way to resolve that issue. They were asking for a handicap ramp and a renovation of the showers. Once the Governor's Commission on Disability got in there, they saw there were additional code violations. They couldn't help because they figured it would condemn the building. And so I'm looking for a way to solve this problem. I really don't know how, but if we could brainstorm, if any of the commission has an idea of nonprofits or funding or how we could help this family, I would really appreciate it.
Bruce Armstrong might be able to help with that, and I can get you his number.
Okay.
Chairman, Commissioner O'Donnell, I did get your email, and I do appreciate that. I do have contacts within that industry. In my past, I did run a business that provided services for the handicapped. My brother was handicapped, my mom's very involved, and so I'm also going to try and reach out to some contacts I have personally to try and help that family. I understand that it's a very difficult situation for that family.
And then with your connection with the Taos Community Foundation, maybe they might consider some kind of a program. I I don't know if they have that or not, but there really is a need for this, and if it's probably not just this one family, there's probably other issues. And then my final question, thank you, Mr. Chairman, is has Hickory's Pueblo set a date to discuss the road easement issues? I see this as I would really like to work that out with them. I don't know what they want. I did get a map from BLM. We need a map of specifically the mileage of the roads they're talking about, but I would like to be part of that meeting. But the letter he gave us said they would contact us. So I do not know have they contacted us for
We
meeting?
reached out to them. I just heard from Anissa that they're going to get back to us with the dates that they have available to them. So we have reached out to them and we've asked them for some dates, and that's where we're at now. They're getting back to us with what their availability is.
And I think we need legal in this. As you know, Santa Fe's having these similar issues. I want to stay on good terms with the Pueblo and think about what can we give them in exchange that's like a fair trade. If we have to sign some agreement that we have permission, easement position, something that we can do that's going to help make this possible. So, thank you.
Thank you. And I do understand that. I do feel that it's important that we address the issue. I don't think it's as contentious as anything near what's going on in Santa Fe County. The governor and the war chief it came to their attention and they wanted to sit down with us in good faith to talk about it. So I do think that things are able to be worked out. Definitely. We're not in a contentious situation with them at this time.
So if we could find out like exact mileage of those specific roads. I know one is Plaza Road, one is Vaicitos, one is the Pine Cemetery, which there's a Catholic cemetery on Pueblo lands. If we can find a way, there was some talk if it's right behind the road yard, if we could perhaps create a road to the back. I don't know, I just want to make sure that we stay on good terms with the Pueblo, and it's important for me to understand the length of these roads that they're talking about. And as maybe the commissioners don't know, but there was a gentleman in Yosco who shut down part of a road that had been used for years. The Pueblo agreed, he blocked it off, and that's been a little bit of a hardship for 10 families back there, but it is a private road, so I want to make sure we have these issues addressed.
Is there anything else with your report, Mr. Corder?
That's all I have at this time. Sheriff has some.
Those are being sent to us daily.
Yeah, as I've been getting those gas updates, I've been asking Renell already to send them out to all staff and electeds. The most recent update was that they will not be shutting down the traffic until the 7th, I believe. So even though today's the 1st, we can still get through the canyon for another week without the delays. But once the delays begin, they are 24/7, as I understand it. So anytime you go through, you will expect a delay. So we'll continue to get those out.
The communications between public safety and our channels and being communicating correctly.
That's our, yeah, would you mention that? That's actually new to me, so
We're getting those emails daily.
I was afraid maybe that was new. We did have a meeting late last week with the gas company, DOT, ROEM, dispatch, LEPC, myself, law enforcement, public safety from all over the county, including Red River. Big concerns is obviously public safety having access through there in a timely manner. Came to agreements. They're going to get our south and Pickler East frequencies. Their pilot cars will have communications. If they have a problem, they can reach our dispatch. If we need to be going through there and we can have our dispatch call them, it's probably going to be very limited, but minutes ahead, at least they'll have that heads up. The public safety will need immediate access through that area. Transfers for EMS from the hospital, occur several times a day. Significant delays could be seen in that. So we kind of put this into play. I think it's the best and most manageable thing that we were able to come up with. And we're very hopeful it's going to work for the next 4 months.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Corder?
Just one more quick thing. I did want to let the board know I'm going to be revamping my manager's report as we implement the new software, the agenda software. We're going to beef it up a little bit, give you a lot more of the just department head reports, things like that for your information, just to give you more information on a consistent basis, and then you will have some questions that you can ask me in the public forum. So that's coming soon too. Thank you.
And Chairman, Commissioners, we've finished the personnel policies. I'd like to email those to you. We've made a decision, I believe, not to adopt them by ordinance, but by resolution. And I think it would be helpful for you all to look at them prior to the time they come on an agenda, because they're lengthy and involved. So I'll just email those out probably this afternoon, and then you'll have a draft. I'm guessing the final will be presented in late August or soon. But if you have any comments, get back to legal, please.
Thank you. Item 13 is Commissioners' Reports and Matters. Any new business to be considered at a future meeting?
Mr. Chairman, I just remembered I was going to ask for an update from our manager on the Los Corpus Road. What's the status on that?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Romero, unfortunately at this time I don't have a good update for you. I can ask Mr. Jaramillo to email me. I will have an email over as to where we're
I went
at.
and drove it yesterday. It looks just like they're smoothing everything. There's markings on it.
Mr. Chairman, I know that in years past we've had a problem where this particular contractor, Mr. Perovich, waits till it's about the middle of winter or somewhere near winter before the paving takes place, and it's always a rush job and they make a mess. And I'm hoping that we don't repeat that again this year. This is a big project. It's going to cost the county a lot of money. Let's remind him of that and make sure that he doesn't repeat that again.
If I remember right from when I sat in on that engineers meeting that we were invited to, that it was, the paving is supposed to commence like next week, I think. But I'll look into that. But Brent's the one that has pretty much all the stuff on that, but if I've got anything, I'll get it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Romero, I do believe there was some deadlines within the contract, so I'll double check that, get that out to you so that we can affirm that it will happen prior to fall. Mr. Perovich was in our office last week, and we just talked about them finalizing the airport. And as soon as the airport was done, they were moving on to our project, so I do think that's done. According to him, he was a day or two away at that time, finishing that.
I did see activity when I drove it yesterday.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, I have the same concerns on Whit Road. Make sure that that project's watched, because I think that's next in line after.
So back to the agenda, any other new business to be considered at a future commission meeting? Hearing none, commissioners' announcements.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. I had a question for our manager.
Is it agenda related?
It's related to if we should place a vote on the showers at the next meeting, or if that can be done
I asked Mr.
internally.
Sanchez to get us a rough estimate as soon as he could. We don't know that he'll have that ready by the next meeting. As soon as he gets that together, I'll have him make a presentation.
Mr. Chairman, I also agree it would be a little premature to make a decision on something we don't have numbers for.
Mr. Chair. Don't know if I should put this in new business or commission announcements, but question for manager, the community centers, do they have punch cards to throw the trash, or do these members that kind of are in charge, do they use their own punch cards to throw the trash? Should they have an exemption? Should they have a punch card just for the community's waste? I mean, I don't know if that's something that we have to look into. I don't know if it's already in place, but the community of the Cerro Center there asked me to bring that up because they used their punch cards individually to throw trash. Not that it's a whole lot, but it's something that maybe we should consider. In addition, in that same community center, there's been some work that needs to be done. I don't know what the delay is with our facilities department, or whether on the contract or the bids that need to be done in the center. bring that up to you, you can kind of facilitate that with whoever's in charge there. All I have in announcements, I hope at some point, maybe in September, October, we would be able to do an opening of the minor community center as well. That's all I have.
Mr. Chairman, real quick, finally, thank you. Again, a reminder about the grand opening this weekend, Saturday, at the Northern Rio Grande National Heritage Area building. This used to be what was the Oñate Center, the one with the horse and Oñate statue, the foot cut off. It's going to be a really good event. The board, I've been a representative for Taos County on it, and it's a really great board. A lot of awesome board members on there. We recently changed the name of the building, and we also chose a logo, as you can see on the card that was printed. So hope to see everyone there anywhere from 8:30 to 8 p.m. on Saturday. Thank you very much.
The only announcement I had was myself and Commissioner Romero have an upcoming NMAC board meeting, and then I have a multi-line board meeting coming up in the very near future after that. And so those are other things that we're dealing with representing the county. Anything else from the commission?
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to thank the staff for creating the Fiesta float. It was a big hit in Penasco as well. And thank Daniel Sandoval and road foreman Juan Lopez for participating. My Facebook page, it's almost up to 600 views of that one shot of Daniel and Juan. It was very popular. So thank you very much, Anissa, and please relay that to Renell. Thank you for your work.
And a reminder to the commissioners that Monday, August 14th at 11 a.m. will be the groundbreaking and ribbon cutting ceremony for the Taos County Veterans Cemetery. So we can go ahead and notice that there will be a possible quorum. I don't know who plans to attend and who doesn't, but that's the date, August 14th, 11 a.m. at the site.
Mr. Chairman, I plan to attend, but also if we have a revamped schedule, calendar events for the next couple of months, I really appreciate that.
Okay. Anything else? Hearing none, we'll move on. Item 14 is Taos County Board of Commissioners may convene in closed session on the following two items. First being a discussion regarding appeal of the decision of state engineer in the top of the world water rights protest. These matters may also be discussed in executive session under Open Meetings Act Exemption 1015-1H7, which allows for discussion or pending or threatening litigation. Second item is discussion regarding county attorney. This matter may be discussed in closed session under Open Meetings Act Exemption 10-15-1H2, which allows for discussion of limited personnel matters. I entertain a motion from the Board of County Commissioners to go into an executive session.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Following a short break, if we can add that.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Second.
Yeah, motion and a second, then we'll probably convene, could we say 10 minutes? Is that acceptable?
Sure.
Okay. Are we staying here or going upstairs prior to the vote?
I think there might be more room here because Quayla will probably come down as well.
Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Blankenher?
Yes.
Vice Chair Gagos?
Yes.
Chairman Bauer?
Yes. Francis, I'm not exactly sure how long. Probably got time to go eat. And then we'll go from there. We'll see you back. Thank you all. Short break. Okay. Okay, I call this meeting back to order with a motion.
Motion to come out of executive session, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know that our microphones are on. I don't know if it's necessary.
Can you hear? Yeah, you can.
So
The computer went down.
is it being recorded into the record then, so you have to keep,
He's getting it, yeah.
okay, just
You
getting
want
it?
to reboot it? I am now, yeah. We would all for this.
Mr. Chairman, this one.
There you go, they're on.
Okay. So I have a motion and a second to come out of closed session. Clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Blankenhorn?
Yes.
Vice Chair Gagos?
Yes.
Chairman Fambro?
Yes, and I'll give a report that the commission discussed two items, that first being the state engineer and top of the world water rights protest. We were able to discuss that in executive session under Open Meetings Act Exemption 10-15-1H7. Then the second item was discussion regarding county attorney, and that matter could be discussed in closed session under Exemption 10-15-1H2. And those were the two items that we discussed. Do I ever have a motion to accept my report?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Okay, motion and second, clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Blankenhorn?
Yes.
Vice Chair Gagos?
Yes.
Chairman Fambro?
Yes. Item 15, after we convene, item A is possible decision regarding an appeal of the state engineer's decision on top of the world water rights protest.
Mr. Chair, make a motion to move forward with the
Appeal process.
appeal process to the state engineer decision on top of the world protest regarding the change of Amendment 5 from adding an additional $7,500 coming to $47,500.
Mr. Chairman, we already did that. It
Yeah,
was, I'd like to amend your motion to include that we, RFP.
Legal counsel for the appeal.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay, so the motion is that we continue the appeal process and that we RFP as soon as possible to obtain legal services to handle that appeal.
I will second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Blankenhorn?
No.
Vice Chair Gagos?
Yes.
Chairman Fambro?
Yes. Item B is possible decision regarding Taos County Attorney. Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Blankenhorn.
I'd like to make a motion to provide the county attorney with 60 days notice of termination without cause and to offer 2 months severance benefits, all in accordance with her contract.
I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second to advise the county attorney of giving 60-day notice to terminate
Without cause.
without cause and provide all applicable severance and benefits as specified in their contract. Clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Romero?
No.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
No.
Commissioner Blankenhorn?
Yes.
Vice Chair Gagos?
Yes.
Chairman Fambro?
Yes. Item,
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to just make a comment that I appreciate all of the county attorney's work. She's done numerous resolutions and ordinances that include the Gorge Bridge, a letter regarding the Gorge Bridge, the immigration resolution, the off-road, various help with LUR, and I'm sorry that this vote is happening.
item 16, commissioners.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. And a second. Clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Blankenhorn?
Yes.
Vice Chair Gagos?
Yes.
Chairman Fambro?
Yes. Thank you, Francis. Thank you, Tammy.
You're welcome.